Welcome to episode number 111. This is how successful the award-winning podcast of the Eavesdrop podcast has become. This episode is brought to you by Upstart, Purple Mattress, ExpressVPN, and Burrow. That's 4 sponsors, man. I feel like Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan has like 18 at the beginning of every single one of his podcasts. Sometimes you see it on YouTube, sometimes you don't. It depends on how they structure the deal to where he may not necessarily need to say it on video, but he will have to say it on that. I don't know how it works. Dalton Schultz, super tight end. The super tight end. Dallas Cowboys. You were here at the beginning of the Hex Quarters.
I was, yeah.
Like, what did you see at the beginning? Like, what has changed since the last time you were here?
Well, I mean, you guys obviously got a lot more stuff in here.
Yeah.
I think I saw it when it was pretty bare bones.
Yep.
But yeah, dude, I mean, that was 3 years ago at this point. So I mean, a lot's changed.
Yeah.
Obviously.
So Dalton, a big gamer. I don't know how we got connected, but we got connected. You came out to check out the spot. We hung out for a little bit. And on the way out, I'm like, yo, maybe one day you'll come on the podcast. And you're like, yeah, hell yeah, I'll love to. And then COVID happens. And then, all the other bullshit happens. Life gets in the way. And here you are 3 years later, finally. Because we didn't even start the podcast, right? Like right away, Matt? Or we did? Yeah. It took a little bit, right? It wasn't something that immediately we knew that we were going to do a podcast, but we didn't know how long it was going to take to get up and running, and it took a while. But now that we're here, we are here. I'm only going to ask you this question because I just came across this I have my laptop open, which is one of the main reasons why I often don't have Twitter open. But I don't want to talk about it, says my friend Justra. But right now he says you've paper handed a total of 551.53 Ethereum. Right now that's worth 2,254,000. Are you into like NFTs and crypto and all that?
So I see the kind of lore, the appeal of like doing stuff like that. I see where it's going. Personally, like, I'm not super big, dude. I invested into Doge.
Yeah,
literally like 3 days before the SNL skit.
Yeah,
I got torched.
Yeah, Matt's saying
I got absolutely torched.
You did.
That's the only like
crypto
that I have. I've been like kind of trying to steer clear of it. But nah, dude. A lot of the guys on the team are into the stuff like that.
Yeah,
and I can see why.
Yeah,
I just think it's a little volatile right now. And I don't have a ton of capital to like do that kind of stuff yet. Not yet.
After this year, boy, I hope we'll see. Supermax. I'll tell you what, I think that's the one thing that I'm not doing right now that I should be paying attention to.
Same.
I have a really good instinct. My gut instinct is fucking phenomenal. I put it up against anybody in the world. It's just that good. And my gut right now is telling me that I should be playing in the field. Yeah, I mean, I don't know necessarily how, and I'm still waiting for the world to sort of tell me where or how I'm going to do it. But I do think that there's a place for me to play in this space. I just don't know how I fit in. And I usually play my role that way, right? The stepping into the cannabis industry wasn't necessarily something that it just came to me one day because I was going to. In my attempt to try to get Optic back some way, somehow, right? Or try to remarry the brand somehow, I figured that searching for different verticals or opportunities to make enough money to buy it back from whoever it was at the time was a thing. And then I saw this headline on cannabis and how it was big. And originally I was going to do a tequila company. Nate Shot, Courage, and I were talking about it at one point.
Like the Rocks, yeah.
Yeah, the Rocks, right? Tanamera, I think it's called. Terramana. And then, in that same sense. And then Josefo, a guy that worked here, said to me, you should do a hot sauce, like a hot sauce, whatever. And I'm like, oh my God, that makes like so much sense. I love tacos. I love grilling. Like there's something more that I can share. For me, it's you always
know the sauces in the back of the restaurant that nobody knows about.
Yeah, exactly.
Macero, the smoked.
I told you, right?
Yeah.
So every time somebody asks me where you asked me like what
where should
Mexican
I go?
restaurant that I recommended. Yeah. I said Mesero, but I also remember saying, but make sure that you ask for the
specific
molcajete salsa from the back. It's the spicy one. It's whatever. So that's where I was going to go and do, right? Anyway, my gut feeling led me to cannabis because of whatever. Had a successful launch. But as we launched this thing, or as we were in the middle of it, Optic sort of came into my world, or the opportunity to get Optic back, and I hopped at the decision like right away. Obviously,
as you should.
I love it, right? Yeah. It's my life's passion. I'll tell you what, though, operating Optic the way that I've been operating by myself in the last couple of years. Or since I got it back, like actually what the last 3 years have taught me is that I made the right decision in trying to get help to operate Optic, right? Selling it at the time. Whatever happened, whatever. That's neither here or there. The fact is that I now know that I did the right thing back then of sort of trying to get help or get help for Optic. So whatever happened is in the history doesn't have anything to do with the fact that I made the right decision for me and my family. But here I am, happiest ever. Me married back to my brand. You told me when you walked in you haven't seen me since.
Yeah.
And again, it's one of those things where you destiny happens.
No doubt, dude.
Destiny happens.
I mean, kudos to you for like reaching that point too, where you have to where you feel like you need to go out and get help to do something like that. I mean, that obviously tells you your brand is at a certain level that obviously supersedes your abilities to do it all yourself. And I think, coming from the Cowboys organization, like, I mean, that's the biggest, sports franchise in the world.
Yep.
And I mean, I couldn't imagine.
Shout out Jerry Jones.
Yeah, I mean, one person doing that is ridiculous. So it's like, obviously that's a little different scale.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's too far off. Keep building this the same way. I mean, you talk about esports brands. I mean, Optic has always been at the forefront.
Yeah.
Everybody knows Optic. Everybody knows who that is. And so I think you keep going. I mean, the sky's the limit, man. I'm just happy you got it back.
Thank you. Yeah, so am I. The thing with that is that back in 2017, call it June, because I sold at the end of 2017, but call it June 2017, we were in Counter-Strike, we were in Gears of War, Call of Duty, obviously, Halo. Like, we were in fucking esports, and it was just me and Hitch. Well, Hitch on the production side, me on the business side. And we were able to operate. How many players was that at the time that I had under just me, not including all of the personalities? You know what I mean? So back then, like, I don't know how I did it. I was better back then. Maybe I was. And Nature and I talk about this all the time. How like times have changed, and it doesn't seem as though it has, but it has. Right? Like, I cannot tell you how I was able to operate Optic by myself for 10 years. I cannot tell you. I cannot, for the life of me, as I sit here today, trying to think about how my life was before Paige came in and started solving everything, or before Matt came in and started editing everything, and Roger and all of these people that we have, like, it's crazy to me. And from a business standpoint, nothing changed, right? Money came in and money went out. Money came in, went out. I cannot tell you how. Operating the house, operating the, you know what I mean? Like, I cannot fucking tell you how I figured it out back then, but I did.
It's also an industry where it's like, it's very different from traditional sports like industries where it's like the Cowboys are, I mean, they're football only. You know what I mean? So an esports organization can expand into, however many games or whatever they want to get into. So, I mean, it's like the scale can be whatever you make of it. So I think it's a very interesting like comparison just to see what people do and like maybe the thought process of, what game should I get into? Should we expand a team here? Does it make sense to go here? I mean, that's all I've always thought about, like the business side of that stuff, because I'm like, well, how do you make that work? You know what I mean? Like there's no model of like, hey, this is exactly how an esports organization should be run. This is how you should run a team. And it's very different from, the other models of sports around the world.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm super interested in that.
Well, I
pick
think
your brain about it later. Maybe
I think there is a model, right?
Yeah.
The optic model works, right? Like, I mean, if you look at where we started, how we started, if you look at what Nate has been able to accomplish, and by no means am I ever taking credit for any of the things that they because only 2 organizations have been able to execute as well as we have, and that's 100 Thieves, that's Face Clan. And I think others are starting to like sort of come up, and that's not to say that my model is the only one, right? Because if you look at Cloud9, TSM, like those are massive organizations that didn't necessarily follow the path of content the way that we did. If you look at G2, like same thing, like they have a very rabid fan base that's really, really good, right? They have a good face behind their brand in Carlos, and he's this like big personality that's good for that brand. So I know that my model works because it's been implemented in gaming, it's been implemented in outdoors, right? Like a bunch of times, right? It's like, so the model does exist and it's there. The only reason that I always make it a point to make sure that people know that I'm not taking credit for anybody else's success that's used the model is because everybody knows the model, right? Every organization in the world can look at what we've done in the last 10 years. It's on fucking video. It's on YouTube. It's accessible to anyone. And they haven't implemented it. Or they try to implement it, but they failed. There's only a few that have been able to really execute well on that. But it works, man. If Pine Park works, that means that the model that we created, the optic model, has worked 3 times in gaming, for sure. Once in the outdoor world with Guggen. Once, right now it's currently popping off. Like the good, to me, the good brand, the good golf guys are like the epitome of... Everybody should have eyes on them because they're about to change the golf game forever. The way that Guggen changed fishing forever, the good guys are going to shape and reshape golfing forever. Obviously, fishing, you had the Van Dams and you don't have the Tiger Woods, right? Like this is a separate, different industry. But the way that they are approaching it, following a specific model and having this sort of big characters come together under one brand to build something big, like all eyes should be on them right now because what they're doing is revolutionary for golf. And you sort of see it, you sort of see it happen, and you're paying attention to it, but you blink once, and next year you're in a completely different brand that is just going to be, incredible. So if I'm able to execute what I know how to execute in Pine Park in my cannabis industry, that means that my model has worked a bunch of times, and at no point is it luck. You know what I mean? Which is what a lot of people always says, lucky, first mover advantage. You were here in the beginning, etc.
Yeah. Easy to say that in hindsight.
Yeah,
when you're not in that situation, making all the decisions. Right?
Yeah. So I'm very excited for that. Like I think Optic is a once in a lifetime brand. I think Face is definitely a once in a lifetime brand. I think Guggen is a once in a lifetime brand. Just because of what it is and what field it's in. And I think that Good and Pine Park are headed like in that same direction, hopefully. So, if we're able to execute well on everything that we have, I think that sky's the limit for those boys, So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I recently got into like all the Guggen stuff and all the videos. That was probably like a 2-year thing.
Yeah.
Like 2 years ago, I was like, you know what? I should just pick up fishing. So I started watching a lot of like John B. and like, dude, me and my buddy who's been living with me since COVID, dude, we went like all out on fishing stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you ever want to go, like the Guggens are always welcoming. We have many spots to go.
See, that's what I need more than anything. I need spots, man.
Yeah.
Like we've dried up
everything around
everything in like a 15-mile radius of where we're at.
Well, I mean, what's your schedule like? Obviously, let's start from the beginning. We went on a little bit of a tangent there, just catching up as friends, and not really podcasty, if I do say so. Who are you? Right? Who are you today? And where did your story begin?
Yeah, man. So I'm first and foremost, I'm a husband. I'm a father of 2. We just had our baby girl in February. Thank you. Currently, I'm a tight end for the Dallas Cowboys. And I wouldn't include that if I didn't feel like football is a part of who I am. It's kind of just a testament to the sport that's just kind of made me, it's had a very positive influence on who I am today, and I've learned a lot through it. And then, lastly, I'm probably just a gamer, dude. Like I love gaming. I've been gaming all my life. Yeah, I feel like my generation, maybe the generation a couple years ahead of me, was like the first to grow up with games and with it being kind of a normality.
Yeah.
Kind of like right on the cusp of, the 2000s era Gen Z kids. So it's like nowadays kids are growing up with that. I mean, my son's 3 years old and he's got a tablet that he games on all the time. You know what I mean? So it's becoming a lot more of a mainstream thing. And so I feel like I was
You're 25.
25.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. 25 years old. Started playing football when I was 8. And yeah, dude, it's led me here. So I'm doing something right.
You went to Stanford.
Stanford grad.
You Stanford grad.
Yep.
You left that out. Obviously, super impressive
Dude,
school.
I was doing my finals, my last set of classes. I started to take 2 classes in the spring, my rookie year. So I was like learning my playbook, learning a whole new offense, drowning in what is the NFL. And then trying to figure out and finish like papers and finals.
So they give you like a trapper keeper of sorts with all the plays and a booklet of plays.
They used to. That's kind of like the traditional thing back in the day before they had iPads. And
I guess they give you a PDF now, right? What the fuck am I talking about?
It's all iPads, man. You know this. Digital. You got your laptop.
Yeah, I know. So they were fucking carrying your book.
But yeah, so they just give you an iPad. It's got all the plays in it and everything. They update it week to week.
And your X's or O's, and then you just know your position, and then you got to learn it.
Well, it's like your first couple of years, it's like, okay, what am I doing?
Yeah.
And then as the years goes on, it's like, okay, what is the guy next to me doing?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I learned that from 82. Jason Witten. He was big on really understanding like what everybody around him has, how the quarterback sees the offense, and just taking his knowledge to the next level, and then understanding what the defense is doing too. You know what I mean? So, I mean, you could take it as deep as you want to go.
Yeah.
I mean, some guys are out there. I mean, I know, second contract guys that are basically, hey, I know my job and I'm going to do my job.
Yeah.
And as simple as that, if you want to keep it that simple, absolutely, dude, go ball. Go do your thing. But I mean, there's some guys that definitely take it to the next level for sure, of like understanding what everybody's got.
And that's you.
I'm trying to be that.
Yeah,
absolutely. And I mean, you can obviously learn as much as you want to on that and continue to do that throughout your career.
Yeah.
So I think that's where I'm trying to take my game. And I think that kind of leads to the improvement over the years and the steady improvement.
Yeah.
Which is what I'm trying to do.
You played high school football, obviously?
Yep. High school football. Played since I was 8. Yep.
Did you, what was it like? I mean, obviously, being on the football team in high school has to be super cool. But being as good as you are, somebody drafted, did you know early on that you could go pro?
Dude, I didn't even know that they gave college scholarships.
Okay.
For football. So I was I was just playing through Little League, having a good time with my friends, as a way to stay in shape. I'd keep active. Like I said, I was a chubby kid growing up.
I'm shaking my head as if I know, but I don't know what you mean by staying active.
I was a chubby kid growing up. So that was just because I gamed. That was all I did. I came home, grinded Modern Warfare 2, try to get 10 prestige. I didn't really do much. And so football was my way of getting out, staying active, hanging out with friends. And my parents were obviously all for that.
Yeah.
So I think, as the years goes on, you get into kind of that high school environment. You kind of have an inkling of okay, I'm doing all right. I'm doing well. I played some varsity as a sophomore, and that was kind of a big accomplishment.
Of course.
But, I mean, you don't really think of that. And my sophomore year, after I think it was our first or second game, the University of Utah called me up and was like, hey man, you're doing really well. We want to offer you a full ride scholarship.
Fuck.
And I was like, that's pretty sweet. I'm an idiot. So I didn't know what that meant. I did not know what that meant. I was like, oh, cool. Free college?
Yeah,
but what is that? So I called my mom, and my mom just started bawling, crying.
Yeah.
And then that made me emotional. I'm like, oh, I guess this is
it's a good thing.
Pretty big deal.
Yeah.
So I think as the years go on, I kind of lucked into a lot of the opportunities that I had. And you obviously have to be hardworking in order to be lucky. I kind of put my head down and grinded for a lot of years. I got great grades in the classroom. I made sure I was always on time for everything, always doing my schoolwork, obviously putting the work in on the field. And I just kind of had opportunity after opportunity that I just kind of was taking advantage of.
Yeah.
Obviously went to Stanford, pretty good school. Got the opportunity to play with a lot of really good guys. And then had a decent enough college career where I got the opportunity to play in the NFL, and
Yeah.
that's what life is, dude. Taking advantage of those opportunities. You never know. You never know when those are going to come up again. You never know when they're going to be presented. And you just got to be ready to pounce on them.
Let me ask you this. Obviously, through college and then going through this, is there a process that people like all your other teammates, right, that were trying to go pro that ended up not going pro, right? Because it's not everybody makes it to the NFL. It's like fucking mega hard. How do you like sort of separate yourself from everybody else around you that's trying to do the same thing that you're doing? Because athleticism can only get you so far, right? Like it's about and this is something that I've learned from Scump and Matt Formal, who always talk about it. Like everybody is as good as everybody else. It's the in-game decision making and knowledge of the game that truly separates the pros from the pros,
especially at this level. Yeah, like at the NFL level. Absolutely. Like, agree with that 1,000%. Everybody's good. Everybody's athletic. You're not going against the guy that's like not good. That's why they're here. Yeah. I mean, even the P Squad guys, people on Twitter talk their shit about whoever they want, but like literally everybody in the league is good enough to be here, obviously. So yeah, that is a separator.
You mentioned Twitter. And you just posted a story about. Let me read it. Let me read it and screenshot it so Matt can have it. I mean, hopefully it's still there. I don't know if it is. It was may have been like 2 days ago or something.
Yeah, it was right after the game.
There it is. Oh, it's not there. But some kid said something fucked up to you.
We'll save him.
We'll save. Some little kid just gets on there. He's like, "You should have made this different player.
You should have dove at the 1 yard line. Yeah, you should scored.
Yeah. On some dweeb ass shit because his fantasy team. I mean, well, first of all, thank you for picking him, right? Like it's good that he at least respects your game enough to have you on there. But when when the game happens, and it's got to be tough for you because it's not like it's basketball, right? It's not basketball where you can just take a shot or a layup whenever the fuck you want. It's you being a part of a program that you don't often have control of, right? Somebody is a coach, calls a play, the quarterback either agrees, disagrees, and then a play happens. And if they include you in that play, awesome. If they include you or whatever, like that's awesome.
Well, it's like also it could be like a play drawn up for you and they run a different coverage.
Yeah,
that's like
exactly.
it's just not your ball.
Yeah,
like just relax. Like
See,
know what I mean?
I didn't even think about that.
Well, then there's the teams that double cover certain players. I mean, that's honestly like why I'm having the year that I'm having is because teams are literally out there going, okay, we're not letting Amari Cooper get the ball. Yeah. We're not letting CD touch the ball.
Yeah.
And like, so it's like I'm single coverage most of the game.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Yeah. How many touchdowns this year?
3. Just 3. Yeah.
That's sick, man. I was at the which Cowboys game the Eagles one?
The Philly game.
Yeah.
That was a good game.
Yeah, it was a really good game.
To come to, huh?
We're like, yo, what's that?
It was a good game for you to come to.
Yeah, it was. Hell yeah. It was the first time the wife went to any football game ever. Right, we're Chicagoans, and I, as a Chicago Bears fan, I've only went to go see him once play.
That's it.
Once in my.
I know you talked about that a lot, dude. You need to go to more like sporting events,
bro. Man. You know what it is? It's like I'm tired, man. 7 o'clock. Matt, am I wrong? Like it's true, and it's
dude,
not.
You got long days.
All right, no, it's not even long days. It's just, and I said it on the last podcast. When I became 21 years old, let's just not even talk about my partying days before being 21. Okay, let's not even fucking put that on there.
Me neither, bro.
Let's say, well, let's say from the time I was 21 to 29, I hung out with my friends, right? And I did all of my 20s, and then I came into the gaming industry, and then Hastro, Fwiz, and all my other friends from like the early Machinima days, they all became 21. So I partied with their 21 also, right? And then they become adults or whatever. But then here I am. Here come my players, the Scumpies, the Nate Shots, that are younger, that become 21. So now I have to do their 21s. I drew the line right there. I said, this is the last group of people that I'm going to party with. One, I'm 40 years old. I don't want to be the 41-year-old dude at the
40
bar.
Something,
yeah, the 40-something-year-old phenom at the bar, right? I don't want to be that dude. Not that it matters to me. Like, I don't give a shit. I'm gonna have a good time.
It's a mindset.
Yeah, but I just can't do it. So when Seth said let's go to the game, it was a night game, right? It was. If it's a 12 o'clock game, I'm home by 6. I'm good. I'm good for it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But if it's anything past like 9 o'clock, I struggle. Concerts, I struggle. Like I just don't want to do that anymore.
Dude, those late games will get you too.
Yeah, for you guys specifically,
well,
right?
For us, I mean, we'll play a late game on like, say we go like at New York, We're playing the Giants at New York at like 7:15 kickoff.
Yeah.
I think it's 8:15 Eastern.
Yeah.
So it's like, dude, the game is at least 3 hours.
Yeah.
And then you have at least 2 hours before the plane leaves, and then you have whatever that flight is back, dude. I mean, we're getting back at like 5:30, 6 a.m.
Yeah.
So like, you want to talk about late nights, like, dude, those.
Tell me about travel, and obviously, I don't know, for safety reasons, if you can't discuss, you can. How do you guys travel? Like, is it a private plane?
So
it's definitely not the copter.
It's not a private plane.
Yeah.
We technically, I think it's a charter. So like, we rent out like a whole plane,
the whole American Airlines,
yes,
whatever.
Exactly.
Got it.
So they have a certain spot on the tarmac for us. We pull up. Still got to go through like TSA. Random guys get screened.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it TSA through regular people TSA?
No,
or is it just
no. It's like they have like a little
entrance?
They have like a little shed that
That's awesome.
you walk through. So it's pretty sweet though. Like, I mean, we'll be getting back at whatever time at night, and I mean, that's kind of crazy because you have all these guys with obviously a bunch of money and like these crazy cars. That So like, if you catch the highway at the right time, you're gonna see like
Ferraris,
hundreds of cars that are just
Lambos.
Like, yes.
Yeah, that's cool.
So it's a sight to see for sure.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I always wondered, because I know obviously like flying private is one thing. I know the Rangers have a private plane, but it's I don't know. I think it's just ownership.
Yeah,
maybe?
basketball takes like their own private planes too.
Yeah.
So it's different than other sports because you just have so many. We
So
travel
many
with like
how many people?
All of our coaches. We travel with a bunch of like the media members, like our own writers and stuff. I think there's at some point like family, but it's like we have our whole PR department.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of bodies. It's like what is it? It's not a 7. I don't want to say it's a 787.
Oh,
but it's one of the planes where it's got, the 2 seats on the outside and then a row of 4 in the middle.
Okay.
And it's all the way back.
And what about who gets to ride first class in those?
So my first 2 years, it was like the coaches and the most senior players. So like your Zach Martins, your Tyron Smiths, Zeke Dak, obviously up there.
Yeah.
So it's like those types of Tyrone Crawford. He was up in the front.
Yeah.
So it's like those players were up there, and when we have the new staff come in, it's I guess just coaches. So everybody's in the back of the plane.
How though? You guys are big dudes, man.
Well, it's like if you have the 2 seats on the side or the 3 seats on the side, then it's like you get your own
row.
There's only one guy to those rows, and there's two guys at the ends of the middle rows.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's enough room.
Okay. But even like the distance in between, like where you're sitting and your knees, has to be.
Dude, if I'm sitting on the side, I'm laying down on the full row, like no question.
Yeah.
So it's not that bad. It's
there's
nice.
worse things to complain about, I'm sure.
Plus, it's like everybody on the team, especially this year, is like super close, like
awesome.
super tight. Everybody hangs out. So like, dude, imagine if you and like all your friends are in the back of the plane with nobody else. Like it's
I'm
fun.
Dak or Zeke, I feel left out. I'm going back there to throw some bones. That's what I imagine. Right. People gambling back there and shit. I've seen Wolf of Wall Street, man. I know what goes down.
I plead the fifth.
I plead the fifth. That's crazy. All right, so let's talk a little bit about your gaming. I see obviously Smite. Right, is one of the games. What's your favorite game?
That's my game, dude. I've been playing that since, dude. It's funny. I actually was introduced to it. Syndicate,
Pro Syndicate,
dude. Yes. So Tom did a stream, like a sponsored stream, like 7-8 years ago.
Yeah.
And he was playing it, and I was like, dude, what is this? Like, I was kind of into Greek mythology at the time. He's playing Zeus, and I'm like, dude, I've been wanting to get into MOBAs, but I hate the top down, like click to move.
Same.
So I'm like, well, I can't do that. And so this is like also a MOBA, but it's WASD. It's like third person MOBA.
So you're a keyboard player.
Yeah. So I think like I jumped into it 8 years later, dude. That's the one game I always come back to.
Do you know anybody there?
That in Minecraft at high res? Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
Yeah.
Like Scott Luzier, that's my boy.
Hey, really?
Yeah, we go way back. So anything you need anything, you let me know. I'll put you in contact with him, and he'll hook you the fuck up.
Dude, the Smite community has been amazing to me.
Cool.
I know a lot of the streamers in the industry now.
Awesome.
They kind of help me out. I've been kind of building my own community in that space, trying to. Obviously, I don't stream in season, but as soon as the season's over.
You don't stream in season because it's not allowed, or just because you don't have time?
I don't have time.
Football and family.
I don't, that's the one thing. It's like week to week. I don't want to be in there getting bombarded with football stuff. And it's like, I can't commit to times every single week. You know what I mean? So I was like, well, why even try to half-ass it?
Yeah.
Just leave it to the side. I'll do it after the season, and that'll kind of be my off-season thing. But I think that's why I can't get a damn Twitch partner.
Yeah.
Because they're like, dude, you don't stream for 6 months.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I think it's becoming a little bit more automated, the approval process.
yeah.
Unless you know somebody, obviously, which you do.
Try.
Yeah, to try and get that happen. But aside from that, it's like it's an automated thing. It's the same thing as like Twitter verification. Where before we had connects, now we no longer have those connects.
Dude, so that was big. So in college, my freshman year, they had like some sort of connect because Facebook's obviously out there and all that, the tech startups and stuff in Silicon Valley. We had like people come in and be like, hey, if you want your Twitter account like verified or your Facebook account verified, Instagram, all that stuff, just fill out this form. Like we can get those for you. That was before like verification was like a big deal. So like I've been verified since my freshman year of college, and like that was when I had, I don't know, like 1,800 followers thing? Maybe. Bingham Baller.
Yeah, Bingham Baller.
Yeah, Bingham was my high school.
Yeah,
that's my everybody like asks about that. Bingham Baller, like Bingham was the high school I went to. I made it when I was, 13, 14. And so I've just kept it as like an ode to where I came from.
I like that, man. I mean, if you think about like some of the most popular people out there, they all have like pretty weird names as to how it goes. So you play Call of Duty, obviously Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah.
So do you still play Warzone, or when you have a chance?
A little bit. I've kind of gone away from that with all the cheaters and some of the games get so sweaty.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, like I'm kind of off of the Call of Duty train for a little bit, so I can sink a little bit more time into it. Now with Tim coming back, or Tim basically signing with the Cowboys in a way, I got to get back in my Warzone grind.
You do. Do they give you that? Like, obviously, when something like that happens, does an email blast go out to all the players and say, "Hey, no, nothing like that."
Nothing like that. Obviously, I know some of the guys over at Complexity, so like they kind of let me know or talk to me about it. Which, dude, that was a hell of an acquisition for him. But,
Jason Lake's going to be here on the next podcast after yours, so it's going to be cool. We haven't done with him, since like 2 years, 3 years probably. One of the first people. Yeah, good people, man. OG.
Have you been to Pluckers yet?
To where?
The wing spot, Pluckers.
No,
dude, he's a huge proponent of Pluckers.
Pluckers.
So he took me there one time, bro.
Fire.
Fantastic.
Really? I'm not a big chicken guy. I was just arguing with somebody about chicken. Who was it?
So
the current CEO or the CEO of Pine Park. This guy named Max Goldstein. We went to a taco place. He ordered chicken tacos. We went to he just kept on ordering chicken. I'm like, man, yo, live a little, yo. Like, get
Al Pastor, baby.
Al Pastor. Thank you. Some pork.
Get something.
Yeah.
Tripe.
It's one of those things. But Pluckers, I'll ask him about that.
Bomb.
I'll ask him about that.
And it's like not just for chicken, bro. They have this like mac and cheese that they take and they fry it. Bro.
Who doesn't like fried anything?
Like my inner fat boy comes out.
Oh, bro. Don't get me started. My current fat boy would love something like that.
So good.
All right, give me a second. Let me say hello to the sponsors really quickly, and we'll be right back. We have Upstart as the first one. If you're carrying a credit card balance month after month, it can feel like a never-ending story. It can feel like quicksand. The more you do, the more you sink. Upstart can help you make that final payment so you can get ahead, because so many Americans experienced financial hardship in the last year. Right? COVID did no favors to nobody. Right? So Upstart can help you regain your footing and get back to things and get them back on track. Upstart is the fast and easy way to pay off your debt with personal loan all online. Whether it's paying off credit cards, consolidating high interest debt, or funding personal expenses, over 500,000 people have used Upstart to get one fixed monthly payment. Unlike other lenders, Upstart considers your income and current employment to find you a smarter rate for your loan. With a 5-minute online rate check, you can see your rate upfront for loans between $1,000 and $50,000. You can receive funds as fast as one business day after accepting your loan. Find out how Upstart can help you lower your monthly payments today when you go to upstart.com/eavesdrop. That is upstart.com/eavesdrop, upstart.com/EAVESDROP. Don't forget to use the URL in the description down below and let them know that we sent you. Again, loan amounts will be determined based on your credit, income, and certain other information provided in your loan application. Go to upstart.com/eavesdrop. down below. Next, we have Purple mattresses. I cannot tell you how happy I am with mine personally. And even before they started sponsoring the podcast, as I always say, we've been customers. That's because only Purple mattresses have the grid. The thing that I always brag about, the grid. It is a uniquely ventilated design that allows for air to flow through seamlessly to help you sleep cool, even when it feels like 1,000 degrees out. No more flipping your pillow over. It's literally there. And the grid is amazingly supportive for your back and legs while cushioning your shoulders, neck, and hips, no matter how you sleep. I'm a side sleeper myself. Dalton, you probably sleep... Never mind. Unlike memory foam, which remembers everything, the grid bounces back as you move and shift, so you never get that I am stuck feeling when you do with memory foam, right? And right now, Purple is Comfort reinvented. And right now, you'll get 10% off any order of $200 or more. Go to purple.com/hex, that's H3CZ, and use promo code HEX, H3CZ. That's purplemattress.com/hex, promo code HEX for 10% off of any order of $200 or more. Purple.com/hex, that's H3CZ once again. And also use the promo code HEX, H3CZ. Terms apply. And the link will be in the description down below. All right, we are moving on to ExpressVPN. What and how can I explain to you how important using a VPN is? It has saved us a million times from getting swatted, a million times from getting kicked offline, a million times from happening something. I'm using the word million as in, you know, I'm hyping it up is what I'm trying to say, but it does happen, right? I know that most of you are probably thinking, why don't you just use incognito mode? Well, duh, incognito mode only goes so far. Let me tell you something. Incognito mode does not hide your activity. It doesn't matter what mode you use, how many times you clear your browsing history. Your internet service provider can still see every single website you've ever visited. That's why even when I'm at home, I never go online without using ExpressVPN. It doesn't matter who your internet provider is. ISPs in the U.S. can legally sell your information to ad companies. All that fine line print that you didn't read when you signed up for that thing, that's what they're talking about right here. ExpressVPN is an application that reroutes your internet connection through their secure servers so your ISP can't be seen, or they can't see the sites that you visit. Most of the time, I don't even realize that I have ExpressVPN on. It just runs seamlessly in the background. That's very true. And it's so easy to use. All you have to do is tap one button and you are protected. ExpressVPN is available on all of your devices, phones, computers, even your smart TVs, so there is no excuse for you not to use it. Right now, you can protect your online activity today with VPN rated #1 by CNET. Visit my exclusive link, which will be in the description, expressvpn.com/H3CZ. 3 months for free on a 1-year package. That is exprssvpn.com/H3CZ, expressvpn.com/H3CZ, and the link will be in the description down below. And then we have Burrow. Burrow, before we can get back to my man Dalton Schultz. Burrow is a new company setting a new standard in furniture with easy-to-move modular designs, timeless American, mid-century, and contemporary Scandinavian styles, and premium durable materials like responsibly forested hardwood, top-grain Italian leather, and reinforced metal hardware. Burrow's in-house design team takes a research-driven approach to make sure that their furniture fits your lifestyle, which translates to things like simple mounting guide posters for their index wall shelves and a tool-free assembly process. A modern shopping experience because Burrow got rid of all the far-flung warehouse stores and high-pressure showrooms and replaced them with a modern, easy-to-use website where you get to create and customize your own furniture without leaving your house. And guess what? Free shipping for everyone. Every single order, no matter how big, how small it is delivered directly to your door for free, which can save you well over $100 in delivery fees when it comes to large items like a couch. World-class service. Everyone needs a little help sometimes. I know I do. And the Burrow team is always available to lend a hand, from custom orders to rescheduling a delivery. Right now, Okay, right now, if you go to burrow.com/H3CC for $75 off, burrow.com/H3CC. Thanks again to Burrow for supporting the show. Thank you so much for the listeners for using and utilizing the service. Link will be in the description down below, but listeners can get $75 off their first order at burrow.com/H3CC. That is burrow.com/H3CC for $75 off of Burrow. Link in the description. Don't pass up on this great opportunity. Go shopping without having to leave your house. Enjoy it. My man Dalton, back to you. And we are back. Thank you so much to the sponsors. I got this helmet after you came in the first time because I got it when Tyrone Crawford came to do the podcast. And since then, a bunch of Cowboys have come through these stores. I mean, the most legendary one for me is obviously Herschel Walker. Just because he's, I'm a 90s dude, right? You know what I mean? Who doesn't, but we have Michael Gallup, Bryce Butler, Tyrone Crawford, obviously, and then others. And then you, as soon as this podcast is done. But yeah, I've been a fan of football all my life, right? I play quarterback is my favorite position to play.
You're a quarterback?
Yeah.
Did you play growing up?
No, I never had the grades. Or the athleticism. I don't know. I never tried out.
I wasn't an athlete when I was younger either.
I just knew that every single time in gym class where we were playing like football, tag football, flag football, I always play quarterback, and I was fucking my precision, dude. My precision,
the accuracy,
the accuracy,
pocket passer.
And look,
he's a pocket passer.
Listen, I love me a little bit of me, and I like to talk about me. But when it comes to sports, I like to prove it. It's basketball. Basketball's my shit. I played every single sport except for golf, unfortunately, because and my friends tried to get me to play golf for the longest time, and it was just one of those things where I just never even gave it a shot.
So I finally got my own custom set of clubs. Like finally,
yeah,
dude, I'm 6'6". I've needed a custom set of clubs since like high school.
It says 6'5" here, yo.
No,
What's
I'm
up?
6'6". I'm 6'6". Let's be real. I know.
Why you robbing over the inch, dude?
Come on, man.
Yeah,
well, I think I was like 6'05", which means 6'8".
Yeah,
at the combine, which I was like, dude, should have done some stretching.
Yeah, right.
Should have done some stretching to get those last two 8s.
Yeah.
But dude, I got my own set of clubs, and I was like stoked because finally I got a set that fits me.
Yeah.
I've been swinging on like a set of clubs that was made for somebody that was like 5'10".
Yeah.
All my life.
Some shorts.
All my life. You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, and I go out there and I start ripping it. Like my first 3 shots are just
felt good,
perfect.
Yeah.
And then we play around 18 or around a 9, and dude, I am just chunking it. I'm hitting like, at least 8 inches before the ball is even going. And I'm realizing it's because my swing has been like the same since I've been playing with short clubs, and I'm dropping my back knee to get under it because the clubs have always been short. So now I'm swinging the same way, and I have to like relearn how to hit a damn golf ball.
Yeah, well,
So you're gonna see me on the course once that PGA,
right, dude,
once the PGA place gets finished.
Yeah, let me know, man. My boys would love to play. And I said my boys, but like I don't know how to fucking for the life of me.
Bro, you're in good company.
Any sport, like I understand it and I'm good at it if I give it a shot. And for some reason, golf was just the one sport that I never ever. Tennis, volleyball, I played it all. Pickleball, we won.
Dude, tennis is very underrated.
Yeah.
Tennis is fun as
hell.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Tiring.
Tyrant.
No, completely tiring. Like
tiring.
Yes.
I was like tiring. God, I was thinking of like the
tyrant just busted the wall. It's like the Kool-Aid.
Hey,
Kool-Aid.
Yeah. For real, man. All right. So esports, which ones do you follow? Like what do you watch? Like what do you
obviously
watch?
I'm super into COD. Like I watch those boys every time I get the chance. I grew up on that. Like Black Ops 2 was like pinnacle of my.
Who did you watch the most growing up?
You guys.
Us?
Yeah, no question.
Okay. Well, Nate Shot, obviously from the beginning. Awesome. Scump, everyone.
Everybody.
That's fucking sick, dude. And that never gets old. Like I don't know if it's imposter syndrome or I don't know if it's just me like just being in it for so long that I'm still surprised that when people say, yeah, we watched it. And I don't know how it affects me or if but when you say it, I'm like, yeah, that's a believable thing.
But no, like I grew up on all that stuff. My group of friends that we still all game together, like we all grew up Optic fans. We're still Optic fans. I grew up watching all the vlogs, all the 60/50 videos, dude. Like 1, 2, 3, 5 Macau, like all that.
All
shit.
of them.
Dude,
hell yeah.
So it's like I grew up watching all that stuff, and now I'm here.
Let me ask you a question.
Bro, I'm telling you, like 13-year-old me would be
freaking
screaming.
That's
Screaming.
crazy. Yo, let me ask you this then. What is one thing that you've always wanted to know about the days of 6050? Is there a video or is there a story that you have in like the back of your head where it's like, I'm like, I wonder what fucking happened there?
Bro, I was just happy that like you guys came out and were like, yeah, bro, we were like some of the old 6050 videos.
Smoking?
Yeah, we were smoking. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. I'm like, there it is.
Yeah, well, we were regular.
Yeah.
With college age dudes, you know what I mean, from northwest suburbs. You know, we weren't hype beasts. Well, actually, I guess we were because we were in the. It doesn't, neither here or there. The thing with that is that with what we do came a responsibility to make sure that we were always the right thing on camera.
You're telling, dude, I completely understand that.
Yeah,
because that is where I'm at right now. So that's all I'll say on that.
Yeah, and some people are like. Okay, so first I'm gonna tell you the worst thing about launching a cannabis business is that every picture that you take, you're always gonna be told that you're stoned. Like the amount of people that said that on the pictures I just took on the meet and greet, like I don't smoke until very rarely, and I mean rarely, do I smoke in the morning. It's always after 5 p.m. That's my wind down, right? I don't do it throughout the day. That's just not my thing, right? It's I just not that I can't function or operate. It's just not my thing. So for us, it was like, you know, it's a responsibility thing, right? And like a lot of them, like Seth hasn't smoked in, call it 5 years, right? Like Nate shot 7 years. Like this is not something that they do anymore. So for them to sort of admit that they did at one point was sort of brave, but at the same time was like, why not be open about that, right? It shouldn't be okay for people to glorify the fact that they're getting fucked up on whiskey or old fashions or whatever, our Red Bulls and vodkas or whatever, because those are harmful, right? You know what I mean? Like I've tried to play Call of Duty when I've come home from the club super drunk. I'm talking like Call of Duty 2 2004. Impossible. Close one eye, impossible.
Yeah.
You cannot operate when you're stoned. It's a completely different story. I know that my art has become, I've leap bound my abilities and what I've learned as an artist from a drawing perspective since I started. Again, because I quit for a very long time because of whatever reason. I was a corporate dude in Illinois and all this stuff. You know what I mean? So that's cool. So no other questions. Nothing that you saw like, dude, why did this guy get dropped? Or how did it feel?
Dude, all the X-Files, like
the Hex Files.
That will never, like, I will never see those, but
I'll show you.
I'll
show you. I'm gonna take a break right now. I'm gonna show you the fight between Nate Shot and Scump right now. This is like the only people that I've seen this is people who have worked and work at Optic, and I always bring it up, and they always like laugh, and I'm like, "Yo, when can I post this?" They're like, "No, you can't post that ever." Yeah, but it's funny. Here we go. That's not even it, right?
You cut that.
Yeah, well, the thing is like it went on for so long. It started in the morning, and it went out throughout the entire day, and it culminated at around like 6 p.m. when Scum punched a hole through a door, and like they separated themselves. And then I'm like, oh man, how are we gonna make it back from this? How do I bring team cohesion back? They're eating together like nothing, and I'm like, okay, good. They're normal dudes. You know what I'm saying? Normal dudes.
It's like a brother thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sibling.
So anyway, aside from that, anything else? I always ask, and I should ask people from here on out that, you know, that have had questions about it, because now that it's been like 10, 12 years, like it's easier to talk about. But, you know, why this doesn't get released is just I don't know. I think that maybe on the 20th year anniversary, I always have these like videos, and I'm like, oh no, that's a 10-year anniversary drop.
Bring everybody back and do like a reaction. Like,
that would be a good reaction video. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, get everybody around a couch and just like pull up some moments and like, like a reminiscent type.
But see, like that specifically would be going against what I envisioned Optic to be, right? Like if we, from the beginning, like how big do you think how well do you think this video would have done if we uploaded that video way back then? And would that, you know, spike in viewership would have helped us become larger than we were at the time? And little by little, you sort of start to rely on drama or like controversial shit to grow your audience. And that's unfortunately what thrives.
The day that we live in, dude. Yeah. That's like, I mean, you see it. Like I'm in the NFL, dude. Like that's literally what we deal with every day.
Yeah.
Somebody on talk shows or something saying something that's egregious just to try to stir something up, to get clicks, to get views, to drive people to go watch whatever crazy shit they just said. And that's just the day and age that we're in, man.
The one that weirded me out was this morning when I saw that, because I saw that Valkyrie Ray launched her SPF, but UV protecting makeup line. What? It's not even a makeup line, right? It's like a. I think it's like a makeup, but it's like also helps with blue light. Yeah, it's a blue light. It was marketed as a fucking blue light, right? There's 100,000 millions of rays of blue light that comes on a sunny day, more than any TV or tablet or whatever. But it's still SPF. It's sun protected. It protects your skin. The amount of people that had a fucking problem with that. When I saw that she made that announcement, I saw it and I'm like, oh, good for her. She's venturing out. Yeah, she's venturing out into other stuff. And I moved on. I thought it was makeup. Apparently, it's not makeup. It's like lotion. It's like an SPF thing. Am I saying SPF, sun protective? Yeah, whatever. And I'm like, oh, that's good. The sun is harmful. Like, you do melanoma, it's a fucking thing. So the fact that I guess they geared it towards gamers or whatever, but she's a gamer. Long story short, bro, it's that I saw it and I moved on. It's not for me. I moved on. I thought to myself, good for her, and I moved on. But the amount of people that are choosing to focus on why that's bad. Some dude says that she was selling snake oil. Don't fucking buy this. You have a choice to not buy it. The people, like, even if people thought that she was maybe taking advantage of impressionable kids, it's still not something that, like, it's if you go swimming and you put this on, like, it'll help. You know what I mean? And I just could not believe that in this day and age, people are still, like, not minding their own fucking business. Everybody has a fucking opinion about everything, and that to me is like one of the biggest tragedies ever. People are more concerned about judging people who are doing stuff instead of them doing something so they can understand how fucking hard it is to do.
That's the problem with anonymity.
Yeah.
Am I saying that right?
Anonymity.
Yes.
Anonymity.
Anonymity.
When you said
on
it,
the internet,
I know what you meant.
I fuck that up every time,
bro. Anonymity. Yeah. When you said it wrong, I knew what you meant, so I was like, yeah, I get it. But then when you corrected yourself, I'm like, what? How do you fucking say it? Anonymity.
That's the issue you're gonna run into. That's just